going to Guangzhou now?
Oh, very excited. Anticipation has been building since I found out I was going. But it's even more special because I get to go with my father, who's direct descendant of my grandfather, who immigrated to Canada and married my grandmother, who was a First Nations woman. So to share that with him is going to be something I'll always cherish.
Because of the fear of not being allowed to return to Canada. After all, they had made it into Canada despite the exclusionary laws and the fact that they were not considered citizens. So for many, many years, I never imagined going to my father's homeland.
3rd, 1920, as a young teenager, our father, Hong Tim Heng, left his home, passengers on board. The Empress of Asia embarked from Hong Kong. 18 days later, it arrived in Vancouver, BC on June 21st. Once in Vancouver, our father was likely picked up by our grandfather and brought to the Musqueam Reserve, where his new life would begin.
Deep down, I still wasn't convinced. Over many years, the fears of my granduncles and uncles had been ingrained in me. I also didn't know if I would be accepted by my family in China. How would we communicate? I asked my son Wade to come because I wanted one of my children to share the experience with me. My mother was the genealogist of our family, and the genealogist is so important. My mother didn't have to go around to people came to her. Her sisters would come to her. Her brother would come to her. And other members of the community, if they needed to know a word that was forgotten, the name of an animal or whatever, they would say, go and speak to Sawakhalwan.
Oh, I guess maybe because he was married to an Aboriginal, some of the people down Chinatown called him Chief. So I believe that's why.
Not to speak either language, to speak only English, which I'm sorry for now, because my argument at that time was I will now concentrate on being a Canadian, not understanding that I had no Canadian rights at that time. Under the Indian Act, the federal government of Canada decrees whether or not you're an Indian or Aboriginal person by their definition. We grew up as Musqueam children. All our teachings had been passed down from our primary caregivers, who were Musqueam. But one day, the government decided that we would be classified as Chinese. We were registered as the bastard children of Agnes Grant. After our parents were married, and before Howard was born, the Indian agent struck a line through the names of me and my siblings, no longer recognizing us as members of the Musqueam Indian Band. With 3 strokes, our lives changed.
Uncle Tommy. And for the family here today to show us where our family lived, where our father lived, is so touching.
今日
好多謝你哋都，
你哋咁遠翻嚟從加拿大翻到嚟探我哋，好開心，
你好開心係。
我哋真係好開心。
今日